करुणा सागर मां करुणा सागर मां काली कपालिनी मां काली कपालिनी मां दारिणी मां जय जय मां माधुरे जय जय मां दुर्गे जय जय मां करुणा सागरी मां काली कपालिनी मां धारिणी मां धारिणी मां माधुरे जय जय मां माधुरे जय जय मां दुर्गे दुर्गे जय जय मां माधुरे जय जय मां माधुरे जय जय जगदम्बा माता की जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां श्री गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश पाहि मां श्री गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश पाहि मां श्री गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश पाहि मां गणेश श्री गणेश श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश श्री गणेश श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां श्री गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय श्री गणेश श्री गणेश श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
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 जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः ओम श्री गुरुदेवाय नमः ओम श्री दुर्गायै नमः Okay, so if you are joining us today for the first time, we are seeing Devi Mahatmyam. And just to quickly recap the story for those who are not here. Maybe I should chant a verse and then recap. This is 144. Jai Ambe Jagadambe Jai Ambe Jagadambe Jai Ambe Jai Ambe Jagadambe Jai Ambe Jagadambe
जगदम्बे
Jai Ambe Jagadambe Jai Ambe Jagadambe
अम्बे जगदम्बे
Krishna dosha piveshaye
जगदम्बे
Mamatva Krishna manasau
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
Kim me tan mahadhaga
जय अम्बे
Janmoho jnaniro rapi
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
Janmoho jnanino rapi
अम्बे जगदम्बे
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. So way back, it's a very ancient story that the great Markandeya is telling to his disciples at the time, and the story relates to a king by the name of Suratha and a merchant by the name of Samadhi. Last night we saw this. This is to recap for those who are not here. And both of them became dispossessed. The king became dispossessed because of an internal mutiny by his own ministers and his own people and all that kind of thing. They sold him out. And he was dispossessed, and then on pretext of going to hunt in the forest, he left and went to the ashram of Medhas Rishi. We saw that last night. So In the same way, the merchant became dispossessed by his own family. And I told you that last night. You see, his own wife and wives and children and all of them, they threw him out, took away all his money and everything. So the idea is, in this world, we can become dispossessed by anybody. Artham anartham, bhavaya nityam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya was telling, wherever there is wealth and power, I told you last night, wherever there is wealth and power, there will be a lot of things going on. So we can be dispossessed by anybody, means anybody can take away everything and just put us out like that. And that's why Bhagavan Shankaracharya tells so much in the Bhaja Govindam, for those of you who have studied. He says, again and again, you reflect on the nature of this world. Again and again, bhavaya nityam. Again and again, think. Right. So both of them became dispossessed and they came to the ashram of Medas Rishi, and they approached the Rishi last night, we saw, in the proper way and all that. And then they started asking questions to the Rishi. And what are the questions? Well, today now we'll be seeing. And this verse which I just chanted, they're expressing their particular state now, as both have been thrown out and dispossessed and all that. Their wealth have been taken away, kingdom, everything taken away. And even if in this lifetime it is not taken away like that, well, one day Yamaraj will come and take us away. But some taking away will happen, correct? Either the things are taken away from me or I am taken away from the things, all things like that. So now they're telling the Rishi, and we saw last night, they were present in an ashram, and where you'll go for a more holy place, a more sacred place. Where else you'll go? To Parliament or what? There's no other sacred place. You'll go to an ashram, isn't it? And there also, being in the ashram, their mind was only on that power and that wealth and what is going on there. And we saw the details last night. So sitting in one place, the mind was in another place. That also is another big problem of human mind, in one place. And so many questions came today with regard to that dream. So anyway, now they tell to the Rishi, they're expressing, and listen to the words. Drishta doshepi vishaye mamatva krishna manasau. Both of them. That even though we know the defects of worldly materialistic things, everybody knows, everybody knows the defect of worldly materialistic things. Still, tat kim etan mahabhagaha yan moho jnaninorapi. It means to say how it is that we know the defects of worldly things. What defects of worldly things? Look here. Defect of worldly things is what? All worldly things are temporary, correct? Means it is here today and tomorrow it will be gone. Worldly things are temporary. All worldly things require a piece of our life for their acquisition. We have to exchange life to get them. So the price is life. All worldly things have no allegiance to anybody. Power doesn't have allegiance to anybody. Money doesn't have allegiance to anybody. That's why Lakshmi ji rides on an owl, Lakshmi ji rides on an owl overnight. You've seen that her Vahan is an owl. So worldly things all the time changing. Worldly things has also a natural entropy built into it. I explained this to you before. Natural entropy built into everything in the world. If you make this microphone and you keep it here for 20 years, it will not get better. It will get worse. That is the rule for all worldly things. According to physics also. It will decay, and sometimes it will be gone. So that's what Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, what is that? Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukha dosha anudarshanam. You look at janma, birth, death, then in between old age and what we call senility, and also diseases, vyadhi. And look at the world and see what it gives, and then you see the defects in all of it. We have to learn to see the defect in it, right? So now that same dosha word which Bhagavan Shri Krishna uses in Bhagavad Gita, same dosha word is coming. The two of them are telling the Rishi, oh Rishi, we know all the defects of worldly things. We know that anybody can take away everything we have at any moment and just kick us out and all. That is possible in this world. And people in these type of countries, we say, no, Canada and America are very stable, very stable. There's no such thing, huh? There's no such thing. And lately, everybody must be thinking that there's no such thing. Stable and all that kind of thing. Anything can happen anytime. This is nature of the world. Right? So they know the defects of all world. Drishta doshe api vishaye. Know all the defects of worldly things. Still, mamatva krishna manasa. Our mind still are drawn. Now the merchant, his mind is drawn there to my family. The same family kicked him out. And he's drawn there to the same ministers and same thing, these ministers who had a mutiny and who threw him out from there and all that. What do you call? Stabbed him in the back. So still his mind is going. So they are asking now, Tat, Kimetat Mahabhaga, oh great sage, why, how is this? How come my mind knows this thing and my mind still keeps going there? And I told you the nature of the mind is a peculiar thing. The mind, the person who we hate the most, that mind goes there only. Isn't it? So already from the hate, you get internal stress. And then the mind goes there to give you more stress. Well, see, that is it. He said, Yan moho jnanino rapi. So how come this delusion comes to our mind and comes to the mind of even great jnanis? And that's why people keep asking stories about Mahabharata and all, like great people. In Mahabharata, you'll see great people, and delusion will come. So the delusion comes to people of great knowledge also. This is the idea. Mamasya cha bhavatyesha vivekanthasya murata. How come we are blinded and we lose all sense of discrimination and all that kind of thing, and the mind keeps. So they're asking this type of question. So why is it? Why are men deluded like this? And so now the Rishi answers. Okay, so in the answer, we will see the philosophical foundations of the Devi in Sanatan Dharma, and then we'll continue from there with the stories and all. Huh? I'll just chant. Now, I don't know if anybody has the text in front of them, but I'll just chant here. Now you have to go on pure Shraddha. Because only I have the text. Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jayam Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jai Ambe Jagadambe Jai Ambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Mahamaya Prabhavena
Jagadambe
Samsara Sthitikarina
Jayambe Jagadambe
Tannatra Vismayakaryo Yoga Nidra Jagatpate
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Jayambe Jagadambe
Saisha Prasannata Varda
Jagadambe
Saisha Prasanna Varda
Jagadambe
Prena Bhavati Muttaye सनातनी
जयम्बे जगदम्बे
हेतु भूता सनातनी
जयम्बे जगदम्बे
जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
जयम्बे जगदम्बे
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. So the two of them want to know what really causes this delusion in the mind, even though the mind knows something, the nature of that thing. Like generally, if we know that this scorpion stings or this snake bites and all, we'll not put our hand there, right? But the delusion in human beings, when we know that the nature of the materialistic world is temporary, it's called anitya, temporary, ephemeral, passing, transient. You see, even though we know that, and we know things change, and all, there are certain types of delusion that never go away from the mind, like that. We know the nature of things, so they want to know why our mind is like that. So he says this is caused Mahamaya Prabhavena. This is caused by Mahamaya, the influence of the great Maya, and the Maya of who? Paramatma. The Maya of Paramatma. Not only calls it Maya, Mahamaya, great Maya. This Maya causes delusion, and this Maya now causes so many other things, good and bad. What we call positive and negative. All of it caused by Maya. And now this Maya is described in the second, and that's why I told you the philosophical foundations of the Devi will be given here. This Maya is also called Sa Vidya Parama, Parama Vidya. Maya is also supreme knowledge. But this is amazing. So now let me tell you a little bit about this, our Vedic Upanishadic tradition is, there is, first of all, point by point, see this. There is only one thing in the universe. There is only one thing in the universe. There is no second thing, right? So now, if we are seeing infinite number of things, when the Upanishads are teaching that there is only one thing, well, it has to be indeed a great power of that one thing to appear as many things, isn't it? What a great skill a magician has. How a magician has a great skill that he can really confuffle our mind. I don't know if there's a word like that, but he can make our mind, doubt. Wow, how he's able to do things like that. So he has a great power to do that. So now, a magician really is just using tricks and he's making our mind wander. But this Paramatma, which is the one thing in the universe, for that one thing to appear as infinite number of things which we see in front of us, and that has to be a real great power of that Paramatma, isn't it? And do not think that great things are uncommon in the universe. If you start thinking about the universe you live in, you will realize that there are so many great things that are way outside our, the ken of our senses and all that, mind and senses. Like, for example, none of us will believe that we are moving at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour right now. But science is teaching that, isn't it? And we are moving in about 5 or 6 directions right now. Now, if you tell that to an ordinary person who doesn't know anything about science and all, he'll tell them, "What? That's craziness. What do you mean moving? I'm sitting still." So there are great, great, great things in this world which we have no clue about. Means if somebody did not teach us or tell us or demonstrate or something, we would have not known. And in the very same way, there is the great one reality of this universe, and that one reality has an inherent intrinsic power of infinite dimension also to appear as infinite things. And just like people don't believe that the earth is spinning and all that kind of thing, so people don't believe Paramatma also. Many people don't believe that Earth is spinning. Huh? You think it is not any joke thing. I saw on national television. National television, I'm talking about. Everybody watching. One man is standing by a place like pulpit like this, and he's preaching. And he's telling, no, 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 all this thing about the earth spinning and all of going around and all that, all false things. It is all propaganda put by people for certain days, and you don't believe any of this. This is not there in our scriptures. So you should not believe any of this. And I'll prove it to you. This is what he's telling. I'll prove it to you. If the earth was spinning, right? This is a proof. If the earth was spinning and I want to go to Africa, all I have to do is go up in a helicopter here and wait there. And when the earth spins, I'll come down. This is the proof. So just as people don't believe anything about the science and the earth is spinning and so many things, look, I'm telling this is a man who's preaching to so many people and they're listening also. He has so many followers and all. So people don't believe in science also. What to talk about believe in spirituality and all that. But here are the Upanishads that teach about the one reality of the universe, and that reality has an infinite, intrinsic, innate power. That intrinsic, innate power can cause him to manifest this universe, to manifest any other universe, and countless multiverses. And what we say today, billions and trillions of planets and stars and new galaxies and all on and on. Now science are discovering them more and more. You see, all those manifested trillions of planets and stars and all Milky Ways and all what you call galaxies, all of it are just manifestation of one thing. Just like how you have one clay in the shop of the potter, and that clay can be fashioned into a pot, into a dog, into a plate, into an elephant, but one clay. In other words, the other way to say that in technical language of Sanskrit is they take on numerous, infinite nama rupa. It's called nama rupa, names and forms. In the shop of the potter, there is only one clay, but numerous nama rupa, names and forms. So now, the first point is there is only one thing. The second point, that one thing has manifested as all of this. The third point, it has manifested by its own intrinsic power, its own intrinsic capability. And that intrinsic power, innate power of that Paramatma, the name for that thing is called as Maya. So now the Paramatma is infinite, and so the power also is infinite. And so the manifestation also is infinite. That Maya, the intrinsic power of Paramatma, and I have to tell you a little bit about Grama now. Grama. So that Paramatma in Sanskrit is called as Brahman. Brahman. Brahman in Sanskrit language is a neuter word. Brahman is not masculine or feminine, right? That Brahman, with its intrinsic power, that intrinsic power is feminine. The intrinsic power is called as Maya. Maya is a feminine word. You get this? And the counterpart of Maya on the masculine side is Ishvara. So you have now Brahman with intrinsic power. That Brahman is neither masculine nor feminine. That intrinsic power of that Brahman is called as Maya. That is a feminine word. And the counterpart for that intrinsic power in masculine is called as Ishvara. So this is how you have Ishvara is masculine. So this is how you have masculine and you have feminine. But both are nothing but the same Brahman. Nothing but the same Brahman. Therefore, you will have a line like this now in the Mahatmyam, which says, Sa Vidya Parama. That Maya is the supreme knowledge at the center. Because in the Upanishads, Brahman is described as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. The reality is described like that. So Jnanam, the reality is described as Jnanam. And so here, the Devi is also described as Paramavidya. Paramavidya is Jnanam only. Same thing. So, how we'll say that? We'll look at this now. We say, but no. The intrinsic power of Paramatma, of Brahman, and the Maya, they are two different things. No, they are not two different things. Because you and your intrinsic power are not two different things. Because you cannot take out your intrinsic power and put it in a bottle and leave it at home. Can you? No, it is part and parcel of what I am. Look here, there are so many things which we cannot take out and leave it at home. When we were children, they used to tell us a story. What was the story? This monkey had a friend who was a crocodile. You heard the story? Monkey and crocodile, they were friends. So the crocodile went home one day and his wife told him that she is feeling to eat monkey liver soup. Because she's sick, and if she doesn't get monkey liver soup, she will die. And he had to go and now trick his friend to bring him there to make monkey liver soup. You don't remember the story? How only I remember this story? He tricked his monkey friend and he was bringing him across the river. And midway, he was sad also because he had to do that to his friend, you know. So the monkey asked, why are you sad? He said, because, you know, I'm really not taking you to my home for dinner. I'm taking you my home to be the dinner. So he said, what do you mean? He said, because my wife is sick and she has to have monkey liver soup. So he said, oh, monkey said, well, why didn't you tell me that in the beginning? Today is Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, I usually take out my liver and I wash it and I put it to dry, you know. So I hung out my liver to dry. It is at home. If you had told me, I would have brought it. So that crocodile said, really? Yes, chalo, let's go back for it. Well, of course, you know how the story will end. You know, monkey will climb tree and never come back. But I'm telling, even your liver, you cannot take out. You cannot take out anything from your own personality and leave it. Physical thing. What to talk about your own Shakti, your own power. Because the Shakti is all pervasive in this personality. Even for one thought to move, Shakti is required. One thought to exit and another thought to come. Shakti is required in every cell for the cell to metabolize and do whatever it does. Shakti is there in every iota of the personality. That cannot be removed. That is part of what I am. So in the same way, the Maya is part and parcel of Paramatma, and it does not dualize Paramatma. Please remember this, because people's argument will come right here. For those who study Vedanta, they say, okay, there is Paramatma and there is his Shakti, his Maya Shakti. And so there are two things. We are saying, no, Paramatma and the Shakti, they are one and same, not two things. In other words, Paramatma's nature is to have infinite capacity. And infinite capacity means can do anything. Nature is that, like that. Look here. Tulsidas ji writes, see. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Syavara Ramachandra ki jai. Tulsidas ji wrote a very famous verse in Balkan. He says, Aguna, Saguna, Dui Brahma Sarupa. Brahma, Paramatma, same Brahman I'm just talking about, has two Swarupa. One Swarupa is without Guna, and the other Swarupa is with Guna. In other words, you can be seeing that Brahman as one uniform, homogeneous reality, or you can be seeing that Brahman as a one uniform, homogeneous reality with infinite capacity. So that will be its saguna aspect. Infinite capacity means capacity to do anything, to manifest anything, to appear as anything. Infinite capacity. In fact, Tulsidashi doesn't make up this. Tulsidashi gets this from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad tells there, Dvevava Brahmano Rupe Murtam cha Amurtam cha. The Upanishad tells that Brahman has two rupa, two swarup, means nature. One is to be with form, and the other is to be without form. And this is a very ordinary thing. Huh? Like, for example, you can walk here. If you are a big person with a lot of power, you can walk and flex your power. Or you can just come home and just be an ordinary person. But it's not two people. It's one person. But one time I'm flexing my power and all that kind of thing, wielding power. And the other time, well, you see that, no? Big Pehlwan fellow, he's a major general in the army. And he's commanding 5 battalion coming. And when he tells, attention, everybody, forward, march, and everybody just. And when he comes home, इतनी दुबली पतली पत्नी घर में patni and wife tells go down the road and buy some aloo. You go to the market and buy some aloo. Now he has to march. So then what happened to all his power? So that power can be wielded, or that power can just be there dormant. This is Brahman. That power, intrinsic power, that intrinsic power is his Maya. That intrinsic power is his Gyan. That's why we say that there is Ichha Shakti and there is Jnana Shakti, and so many different types of Shakti he has. Powers, you see. So the Devi, therefore, is that Maya. Devi is that Shakti. Devi is that Jnana. Devi is that all, what we call gunas of Paramatma. Now, without that gunas, what Paramatma also is? Nothing. Zero. If Brahman does not become conditioned by Maya, Brahman will not be Ishvara, and then nothing can happen, because Brahman is Akarta. It is Ishvara which is Karta. You all have learned this in Vedanta. So for those who are studying Vedanta, but I'm telling just from an ordinary standpoint now, the intrinsic Shakti of Brahman is this Devi. And so the Rishi is trying to explain this to these two people whose mind had become deluded and who were suffering the pangs of worldly attachment and all that kind of thing. Now, when he started introducing this Maya as the cause, they had several questions. Now, there are 6 questions which they put to begin the scripture. Like all scriptures have, like Arjuna tells to Bhagavan, Prabhu, my mind, karpanya dosho pahata swabhavaha, prichhami to, I am asking you now. Prichhami, I am asking. Arjuna asked, tell exactly what decidedly what I should do in this situation, in this battlefield. So it all springs from a quest. Until that question doesn't come, nothing will happen. So now they have 6 questions. Now the only problem with this, one question is on this page. The other questions are in the next page. So while I'm playing here, I have to quickly. This is the biggest challenge with iPad. This is number 16, the first chapter. Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Bhagavan Kahi Sadevi. Jai Ambe
Jagadambe.
Bhagavan Kahi Sadevi.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Mahamaiti Ambhavan.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Praviti Katamutpanna.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Karmasyascha Kim Dvija.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Yat Prabhava cha Sadevi.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Swarupa Sabja. Yat
Jagadambe.
Yat Swarupaya Budhava.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Yat Swarupaya Budhava.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Tat sarvam shrutumicchami.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Satto Brahma Vidamvara.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. Okay, so now they ask to this rishi. Oh, just now you mentioned Mahamaya and all that kind of thing. Kahisa Devi, Bhagavan, oh great sage, who is this Devi? Mahamayeti Yam Bhavan, who you mention as Mahamaya. Who exactly is she? Then Braviti, Katamutpanna, how she was born. All human beings have this question. How this thing came, when did the first human being, when was the first human being born? How did he come? And children also will ask, how did God come also? Where he, not only children, adults also will ask. How did God come also? We always want to know how and when and where they came from and how we came from. You see? So, they want to know where this Devi came from. Sa karma asya cha kim dvija. What does she do then? What this Devi does? Because you just mentioned that Devi is the Mahamaya of Paramatma. So what she does when she comes? Then Yat Prabhava cha Sa Devi. And what is her influence? How does she affect the world and all that kind of thing? Yat Swarupa. And what is her nature? And Yat Udbhava. How she was, or what she brings about in the world. What does she create or what does she do like that? all those type of things. Katham utpanna sa, and then here udbhava. So does she bring about anything in the world when she comes? Does she make it do anything, create anything like that? All that kind of thing they want to know. So these are 6 questions put. And tat sarvam shrotumichhami tvatto brahmavidam vara. Oh, greatest knower of Brahman, Medhas Rishi. They are addressing him like that. The great knower of Brahman, please explain this to us. And then in the opening statement, he tells very nicely. And then you'll see these type of lines make it clear that there is no difference between the Devi and Brahman. There is no difference between Ishvara and Ishwari. There is no difference between Bhagavan and Bhagavati. All these names you know, right? So there will be a masculine form of the name and there will be a feminine form of the same name. Because the Sanskrit language is a really perfect language, and the Sanatan Dharma also is perfect. There is no such thing in Sanatan Dharma as Brahman is only male or only female. Those are children's stories that you hear in other places. But Brahman is no such thing as male or only female. That's why the word Brahman is neuter. And then from that comes Ishvara, Ishwari, or Deva and Devi, or Bhagavan and Bhagavati, like that. And of course, when we say Bhagavati and Devi and all, there are so many names, but we are referring to the same power seen from two sides, the same Brahman seen from two sides. And not any difference. So this verse, the next line itself, the first line that comes out from the Rishi's mouth, see here. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Nityeva sa Jaganmurtihi.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Taya sarvamidam tatam.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jai Ambe Jagadambe.
Jagadamba Mata ki jai. So now the Rishi, Medhas Rishi, is now describing Devi now. And now we come only to one topic. What is a Devi? So he said that Devi is Nitya. Nitya means, this is the word that is used to describe Atma in our Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, where we study, right? They say there is one Nitya Vastu and there is Anitya Vastu. There is something which is permanent and all other things are impermanent. So that Nitya Vastu is what is called as, that which is Trikala Tishtati, means stands the same in 3 periods of time. Before, during and after, past, present and future is called a Nitya Vastu, that which never changes. So the first word that comes out from the Rishi's mouth is what? That the Devi is Mahamaya, Bhagavati, whatever you want to call, Ishwari, she is Nitya. And so it will be Nitya in feminine. Nitya means she is the Nitya Vastu. See, no different from the Nitya Vastu, means the reality. Then Sa Jagan Murti Taya Sarvamidam Jagat. And not only that, this whole universe is nothing but the Devi. So now we were saying, see, Tulsidashi describes this universe as what? Siya Rama Mai Sab Jagajani. Everything is, or the Upanishad describes Ishwar, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. All this is Ishwara. Or in Bhagavad Gita itself, Bhagavan Shri Krishna describes it what? Vasudeva Sarvamiti. All this is Vasudeva. So now, in the scriptures, in Bhagavad Gita is describing all this as Vasudeva. The Upanishad is all this is Ishvara. And now here in the Purana, all this is described as the Devi. So now what is the difference between the Devi and Ishvara? One and same. We should not go on making all these superficial differences and all that kind of thing. We are very good at that, you know. Human beings are very good at that. But the Devi and Paramatma are one and same, like that. Actually, one of the delusion of Maya, or illusion of Maya, is this thing called as Bheda. Bheda means difference. And human beings thrive on Bheda. You know that, huh? We thrive on Bheda, difference only. Everybody wants to be unique and everybody wants to be special and all that kind of thing. All that is rooted in Bhed, this thing called as Bhed, difference. And the cause of that is Maya also. You will see. Everybody wants to distinguish himself. That I am one notch above the other person or something like that. So we are, and the whole world, see, I'll tell you something. Look here. Just now I had gone to some place and one man saw me wearing Crocs. Right? So he said, Raji, come. I want to take you to not Legoland, what do you call that? Toyland. I want to take you to Toyland. So I said, okay, take. He took me in his car and then he stopped in front of a Crocs store. Because I was wearing Crocs. He stopped in front of the Crocs store. Then he said, Swamiji, this store is mine. Now you go inside there and take any Crocs you want. And if we don't have the color which you like, don't worry, I will have it delivered to your house. Like that. So then I went inside there to take no, I don't want any Crocs here. But now, how I'll tell him, no, he brought me from so far, now I have to take now also. Anyway, I went there to take a pair of Crocs. Then he told, Hamji, come to this counter. I went to another counter. He opened some boxes. And now they have those little add-ons. You know, little add-ons. And you know what he revealed to me? Coming from his own mouth. Huh? He said, I am making more money from these add-ons than from the Crocs. From the Crocs themselves. Because everybody who buys a pair of Crocs, he wants to distinguish himself by putting some little add-on. Look, I have add-on, you don't have add-on, you know. So that thing is making more money than the Crocs itself. So this thing of Bhed is a deep subject. Huh? This is a deep subject in our Sanatana Dharma. So here, the whole topic of difference, of Bhed, is coming very strongly that we human beings, we like to quickly jump to the difference rather than stay with the common thing. That is the idea. So we quickly want to make a distinction between Devi and Deva, Ishvara and Ishwari, Bhagavan and Bhagavati. We like to make those types, and we thrive on them. People make profit on them, like that. But no, here he's saying, the scriptures at other places saying all this is Ishvara. Here, all this is Ishwari. So one and same. Here, see, this line comes, Taya sarvamidam tatam. This line comes from Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Exact line from Gita, where Bhagavan Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that reality is the reality by which all this universe is pervaded. So this Devi is the Devi by which all this universe is pervaded. Exact same lines also. No difference. Huh? Like that, he introduces the Devi to these two of them. So now they ask questions. So other questions. So how does she come about? You know, like how does she take avatar in this world? How is she born and this and all that? They ask this question. So now the Rishi starts this very nice story. What is this nice story? Okay, this is number 67. I don't know if some of you might be having your see this now. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Astirya Sheshama Bhaja. Astirya Sheshama Bhaja. Kalpante Bhagavan Prabhu. Tada Dvava Sobhoram. Tada Dvava Sobhoram. Vikhyato Madhukaitavau. Vishnu Karnamanodbhutam. Antum Brahmanamudyato. Antum Brahmanamudyato. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Jagadamba Mata ki jai. Astirya Sheshama Bhajat Kalpante Bhagavan Prabhu. Now the Rishi starts telling the story at one time when the Kalpa had come to an end. Kalpa had come to an end means what? When there was a pralay. When after the pralay, well then there is a lull. After all things have become unmanifest, all things have become dissolved and go into the unmanifest state, there is a lull, and then the same duration that it was manifest, same duration it stays unmanifest. And then things will start manifesting again. So during that lull, now the Rishi tells, and he's talking about this second Manvantari we saw yesterday, right? He says, Bhagwan Vishnu was there. And what he was doing? Well, Bhagwan Vishnu was there sleeping on Sheshanag. That's the only thing that didn't dissolve. And then from his navel comes out this lotus. Brahmaji is sitting on that lotus. This is the story he is describing. Right? And then what happened? Tada dvau asurau ghorau vikhyatau madhukaitavau. From where? Vishnu karnamalod bhutau. From the wax of the air of Bhagwan Vishnu, two terrible looking asuras by the name of Madhu and Kaitava. Madhu and Kaitava. They emerge from the wax of the air of Bhagwan, because he was, well, I don't know which side he was sleeping, but from whichever air it was up like that there. Then what? If they came out, if these two asuras, if they came out and they were just there, well, it was okay. When you start reading this, you really get a true picture of what the Prakriti in which we live, what the rules are. See, they only just emerge. So, Bhagwan Vishnu is sleeping. They emerged. And as they emerged, they saw this lotus, and on top of that lotus, Brahmaji there. So now Brahmaji opened his eyes and he saw these two fellows. And these two fellows looked at Brahmaji, and then the next line itself, Hantum Brahmanam Udyato. The two of them, the moment they came out from Bhagwan, emerged, the first thing they did was to look at Brahmaji and say, what is he doing there? We should kill him. In other words, in this world, there are people who are born to save, and there are people who are born to. That is the very world. Haven't you seen that? The world is like that only. I mean, they could not think about anything else. That is like, in spite of Ravan and Kumbhakarna being Jai and Vijay, as long as you are born in a Rakshas BMI, if you are born in a Rakshas BMI, you can only do one thing. No matter what, see, what punya karma they would have had to do to become the doorkeepers of Bhagavan Vishnu in Vaikuntha. What punya karma? People cannot even go to Vaikuntha. What to talk about go to the door? So even with all of that punya karma, still when they took birth in this Rakshas BMI, all you could do is only bad things. So now these two, Madhu, Kaitavha, and the first thing that comes out from them, comes into their mind, aha, what is this fellow sitting on this lotus doing here? We'll kill him first. So now Brahmaji got scared. And then Bhagavan Vishnu is sleeping also. And Brahmaji got scared now, so he thought, oh, better I wake up this Bhagavan Vishnu now. So how to wake up Bhagavan Vishnu? So now, and this is how we see the stories actually bringing out the philosophical understanding of the whole power and all that. Brahmaji, and let me just tell you in short, so that you will catch this, because when we are going through the verses, it might get lost. Brahmaji starts worshipping the innate power in Bhagavan Vishnu. You remember I was telling you we have innate power, all of us? So Brahmaji starts worshipping that innate power, who is the Devi. Because the Brahman by itself is akarta. It is his intrinsic power, which when become manifest, that power gets everything done. So Brahmaji now is going to worship the power inherent in Bhagavan Vishnu, and when that power emerges, manifests, that power is the power that is going to remove this Madhu and Kaitava. So he goes into a long stuti now. Well, I don't know how all these things happen. You will have to imagine, I mean, you'll have to. No, I'll tell you. If you see Sundarkand, right? In Sundarkand, Meghnad, he releases the Brahma Astra towards Hanumanji. Now they were fighting right there, right? He releases that Brahma Astra. The Brahma Astra is supposed to be the most deadly of all weapons. That is like the nuke of the time. So, that time when, you will see Tulsidaji writes, what? Brahma Astra Tahi Sandha. He released that. This is all going on in one doha. Brahma Astra Tahi Sandha means Meghnad removed that, released that Brahma Astra. In the same doha, Kapi Mana Kinha Bichar. Now Hanumanji started thinking. And if a Brahma Astra is coming, what do I have to think? Kapi Mana Kinha Bichar. Hanumanji started thinking now. And what he thought? He thought, if I don't respect this Brahma Astra, then Brahmaji will get bad name, you know. Because Brahmaji has bestowed this Brahma Astra, and if I don't respect it, then people will say, what is the use of Brahmaji? Brahmastra is useless thing. So Hanumanji allowed himself to be conquered by the Brahma Astra. So when that Brahma Astra is released, Hanumanji had time to think about all of this also. So now you will have to surmise that Hanumanji is a very fast thinker. You will have to get like that. Or you will have to also think that maybe people, beings of that nature, they think in a different time frame. That's not impossible also. That is totally not impossible. Now science also will tell you why you can never, with your hand, why you can never splat a fly. You can never splat a fly with your hand because the fly is seeing your hand coming in slow motion. He is living in a different time frame. See, a fly lives its entire life cycle and reproduction and everything in 2 or 3 days. So for him, the whole universe is going fast. 2 or 3 days old life cycle is like that. And so when you come with your hand, he thinking, I have a lot of time, man. Maybe by the time he comes, by the time he reaches there, because his world is so fast and your fast is nothing, his fast. You see? So in this world itself, we know of creatures living in different time frames. They see things differently because time is different for them. So now Hanumanji and avatars and all of that, they will be thinking in a different time frame like that. So now here, they not just came out from Bhagwan's air and they see Brahmaji and let's kill him. Now, whereas Brahmaji has time to do long stuti for the Devi and all. But that is what happens in the scripture. Brahmaji now does long stuti for the Devi and praises her like anything. And I'll chant 2 of the verses of this stuti. Same, it goes in the same meter and all. And you'll see how he is praising her. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Mata ki jai. The words are very nice. He's described, Brahmaji is describing the Devi who is inherent in Paramatma, Vishnu Bhagavan, who is sleeping, who is an intrinsic part of, he is appealing to that intrinsic part of Bhagavan Vishnu to wake up and to manifest. And when she wakes up and manifests, Bhagavan Vishnu will himself wake up like that. This is what Brahmaji's objective is. And Tvaya etat palyate devi. sante cha sarvada srishtau srishti rupa tvam. That when the universe is, this is his praise, he is praising the Devi. When the universe is manifesting from Paramatma, you yourself are manifesting. It is not that you are sitting there and overseeing the manifestation, or you are making, you yourself are, you are the manifestation of Paramatma. Sthiti, and when the universe is being protected, you are yourself the protection of the universe and all that kind of thing. Palani, tatha samhrita rupante. And when it dissolves also, you yourself are the dissolution. It's not that you are overseeing and all that kind of thing. She is the very manifestation, staying and dissolution of the universe. Such is the power of Paramatma. Jagataha asya jaganmaye. And Mahavidya, Mahamaya, Mahamedha, Mahasmritihi. All these words, she is Mahavidya, means the supreme knowledge itself. Mahamaya, supreme Maya itself. Mahamedha, supreme intelligence itself. Mahasmriti, the repository of all things in the universe. Because what do we remember? We remember something which happened yesterday, isn't it? Memory, smriti is only of something which happened in the past. And means that thing which happened in the past is still there. It is, we call it happened. Something which happened in the past, we call it as happened. Really, it is not something which happened. It is something which is. It is just I experienced it yesterday. And today I am experiencing things which are here now. And tomorrow I will experience new things. But the things which I experience, they don't go away. Nothing in this universe comes or goes. Everything is there. It's just that I'm experiencing it at this time and I move on. You know, like you're walking down the line for the buffet. So now you're seeing paneer. Next thing you're seeing bhajia. Next thing you're seeing chapati. Next thing you're seeing palak on one end. So now, when you move from paneer to palak on the other side, right? Paneer did not go away. It's now that you are just experiencing something else like that. In the universe, nothing goes away. So here, she is herself the great memory, means the repository of all things in the universe, because I only remember something which is there. So it's like that. Smriti is not just to be taken like our ordinary memory, which we all have here. But anyway, like this, Brahmaji goes on to praise the Devi in so many wonderful words. And in some of the lines, the description of the Devi, now remember, she's not manifest yet. He's praising her as she's an inherent part of Bhagavan who is sleeping. And already in the praise, he's describing her. Lajja, pushti tatha, tushti stvam, shantik, shanti reva. Like that. And then with the one who is Khangini. Khangini means the one with the sword in her hand. No, she's not manifest yet, but he's already telling. So we say, how Brahmaji knows them? The one with Khangini. Then Shulini, the one with that Trishul. He's describing all as Ghora Gadini, means she has a terrible gada, you know. So if she has not manifested yet, how does Brahmaji know that she has all of this paraphernalia in her hands and all that kind of thing? It is because, please don't get confused with all of these things, and don't think that something is wrong with the Shastra. Look here, in Ramcharitmanas, in the beginning, in Ramayana, Bhagavan Shiva and Parvati ji, they are getting married, you know that. In Ramcharitmanas, in the beginning, Bhagavan Shiva and Parvati ji, they are getting married. And Brahma ji comes to do the wedding. Brahma ji himself is doing the shadi ceremony. And then what? They worship Lord Ganesh. But Ganesh is their son, he is not born yet, you know. Certain people say, what type of Ramayana is this thing, you know? These people are not married yet, and how they are worshipping the sun? So, you please remember, yesterday I explained this. We have what is called as different cycles, right? And this thing goes on, and every time Ganesh is born again and again and again. So all the stories of all the incarnations, they are all known. It's not that they are not known. So when that, like for example, Rama is there. So when anytime that Treta Yuga come, Rama will come. So that doesn't mean to say the people who are born in Sat Yuga, one yuga before, that they don't know anything about Rama. They know everything about Rama. See, that is why Narad is telling to Valmiki ji, when Valmiki ji asks, "Are, do you know of any perfect man?" So Narad said, "Yes, I know of a perfect man. The perfect man is Ram." So then he starts telling him about Ram. So how Narad ji will know? Narad ji knows from the previous Kalpa and all like that. Huh? So don't think. So now Brahma ji is praising the Devi. And he knows what she holds in her hands. He knows everything. So like that, he goes on praising, praising, praising. And then the Devi manifested. She came out from Bhagavan Vishnu. When she manifested like that, Bhagavan Vishnu woke up because what my power has manifested. My Shakti has manifested. He got, how you describe that? He became stultified. Oh. And he woke up also. And the Devi manifested. Now, Brahmaji looked at Bhagavan Vishnu when he woke up. And he said, Bhagavan Vishnu looked at, where these fellows came from? Prabhu, they came from your air. And they want to kill me? You better do something fast. Now, it is said here that the Bhagavan Vishnu, to protect Brahmaji, started a fight with this Madhu and Kaitava. Big fight. And it is described here that that fight went on for 5,000 years. Of course, their years and our years and all, they are different, right? But it is Pancha Varsha Sahasrani Bahu Praharano Vibhuhu. Pancha Varsha Sahasrani, 5,000 years that fight between Bhagavan Vishnu and these two Madhukaitab went on. And in the end, Bhagavan Vishnu thought, these fellows, they are unrelenting. It will be very difficult for me to remove them. What to do? So now, see. Jai Ambe Jagadambe. Jagadamba Mata ki. Now, that fight went on for 5,000 years to remove these two. And Bhagavan Vishnu could not remove. So Bhagavan Brahmaji now looks at the Devi who had manifested, emerged out of Bhagavan. He looks at the Devi and he said, Ma, you do something, This fight will go on forever. 5,000 years already passed. So the Devi comes up with a nice trick to remove these two of them. That nice trick we'll have to see tomorrow. The Devi comes up with a nice trick to remove these two of them. And tomorrow also, very importantly now, see, this is just the story part. But everywhere the rishis have given, and our Puja Gurudev has given very nicely, the symbolism of Madhu and Kaitab. So I could tell you from now itself, and we'll see how. Madhu and Kaitab represent these two Durganas which Bhagavan Shri Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita from beginning to end. What is that called? Raga Dvesha. Raga Dvesha Viyuktaistu Vishayan Indriyais Charan, and all, we'll see this from Bhagavad Gita. So this Madhu Kaitab is Raga Dvesh, and we'll see that how tomorrow. But how to remove them? That also we'll see. Okay. Now, we have Durga Arati. So we only have 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes. जय अम्बे गौरी मैया, जय श्यामा गौरी, तुमको निस दिन ध्यावत, तुमको निस दिन ध्यावत, हरि ब्रह्मा शिवरी। ओम जय अम्बे गौरी। टीको मृग मद को मैया, टीको मृग मद को, उज्ज्वल से दो नैना, उज्ज्वल से दो नैना, चंद्र वदननी को। ओम जय अम्बे गौरी। कनक समान कलेवर रक्तांबर राजय मैया, पुष्प गल माला, रत पुष्प गल माला, कंधन पर साजे। ओम जय अम्बे गौरी। के हरि वाहन राजत खड्ग खपर धारी मैया, खड्ग खपर धारी, सुर नर मुनि जन सेवक, हारी। ओम जय अम्बे गौरी। कानन कुंडल शोभित नासाग्रे मोती मैया, नासा
मात रानी।
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
64 योगिनी गावत नृत्य करत भैरो मैया।
मैया नृत्य करत भैरो
बाजत ताल मृदंगा
बाजत ताल मृदंगा
अरु बाजत डमरू।
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
तुम ही जग की माता तुम ही हो भरता मैया।
मैया तुम ही हो भरता
भक्तन की दुख हरता
भक्तन की दुख हरता
सुख संपत्ति करता।
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
पूजाचारति शोभित वर मुद्राधारी मैया।
मैया वर मुद्राधारी
मन वांछित फल पावत चित फल पावत सेवत नर नारी।
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
कंचन थाल विराजत अगर कपूर भाती
मैया
मैया।
अगर कपूर भाती
श्रीमाल के तुम्हें राजत
श्रीमाल के तुम राजत
कोटि रतन ज्योति।
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
श्री अम्ब जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे
मैया
मैया।
जो कोई नर गावे
कहत शिवानंद स्वामी
कहत शिवानंद स्वामी
सुख संपत्ति गावे।
ॐ जय अम्बे गौरी
जय अम्बे गौरी मैया जय श्यामा गौरी। तुमको निस दिन ध्यावत तुमको निस दिन ध्यावत हरि ब्रह्मा शिवरी। ओम जय अम्बे गौरी ओम जय अम्बे गौरी ओम जय
अम्बे गौरी
मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षम मंगलायतनो हरि। कर्पूर गौरम करुणावतारम संसार सारम भुजगेन्द्रहारम सदा वसंतम हृदयारविंदे भवम भवानी सहितं नमामि। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोले जगदम्बा माता की जय। श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। नमः पार्वती पदे हर हर महादेव।